Hey, superstars, David Amanitia here. I want to welcome you to the MLM podcast. This is your daily dose of motivation, love, and money. You know, every single day, you're going to be able to get information that is going to be able to empower, inspire, and really give you all the tools and the strategies that you need to really function at a very, very high level when it comes to these three areas in your life. You know, motivation is one word, but there's so many things that come with motivation. A lot of motivation has to do with really dictating how your life actually moves, you know, how your life grows or doesn't grow based on what motivates you. And then obviously we know love. Love is the creation of all things, you know, and I'm really going to dive into that, really talk about the power of love and how that can really give you the ultimate power that you need to live the life that you truly want to live. And then obviously money. You know, money for us is really just a tool. It's a tool to be able to do more of things that God has actually placed you on this world to actually do. Now, if you really pay attention to everything we're going to talk about over the next coming weeks, months, years, everything is going to be centered around giving. Because if you're not motivated, it's going to be very difficult for you to make a contribution and give to this world. If you don't have love on the inside of you, if you don't have love in your life, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to give to the people that are in your life, whether it's your family, close friends, loved ones, and even people you don't know. And obviously, money is meant for you to actually give. Money is a seed. Money is meant for you to actually plant so it can actually grow. So we're going to talk about all that. And also, we'll be bringing in experts in all these different areas that can actually help you get different strategies and techniques on how to really get there. So I'm pumped up for this particular episode that we're actually shooting today. And I'm going to start out today talking about the power of belief. You know, belief is a word that has really, really transformed my life over the last, I would say, 20 plus years. I really started to study it. I really started to dive into it. I would say maybe about 15, 16 years ago, when I finally realized that this was really the true power on earth that would allow me to live the life that I wanted to live, or it was the power that would actually not allow me to live the life that I actually want to live. You know, every single one of us, we all have a belief system. You know, it's a belief system that was given to us at birth. And it's up to us as an adult, or even if you're a child actually listening to this right now, you can make that decision at any time, 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old. You can make the decision that you're going to start to create a belief system that is going to empower you, that is going to enrich you, that is going to move you in the direction that you want to live. Now, unfortunately, for a lot of people, the belief systems that we're given are not empowering, right? They're not inspirational. You know, growing up, most of us are taught a certain way to think. We're taught go to school, get good grades, graduate, go out and get a good job. You know, a lot of us are taught that this is the one language that you can actually speak. Belief systems are given, or a belief system can actually be created. But the format and how it actually happens is the same exact thing. But let's first define the word belief. Let's really dive into that. You know, when you look at the word belief, there's several words in there. You know, if you're paying attention, the word lie is in belief, right? So a lot of the beliefs that we have really could be a lie. But guess what? It could be an empowering lie. Like if you're watching this right now and you're having a health challenge, the fact is that you're having a health challenge. That's what the doctors told you. You got the doctor's report and they've said this is what the situation is. But is that really the truth? No, it's not. The truth is you're healed, right? The truth is that you have a perfect body. That is the truth. That's what the Word of God actually says. Now, what do? Do I now start to speak the facts, or do I speak the truth? But guess what? That truth can actually be a lie right now. It's a lie to the fact of what the doctor actually told me, right? The doctor told me that I've got this bad report, that this has actually shown up. But here I am speaking healing. Here I am speaking that I'm whole. Here I am speaking all these great things, but it's really a lie. But because it's part of my belief system that I only speak truth, guess what? It now empowers me to live the life that I want to live. And even if someone passes away from that doctor's report, the way they live their life, you know, I think about Stuart Scott. You guys probably remember him, worked for ESPN, and or Craig Sager. You know, there are many people, but these are people that I was able to watch live through their challenges, but not allow it to take over their lives. They still lived lives. They still worked. They still did all the things. Was it Chadwick Boseman? We know him as Black Panther. Yeah, he was going through all that while he was filming, but he chose to live his life regardless of what was going on. So that word in there, lie, it's an empowering lie that you could actually give yourself. But one of the words that I really love in there is the word be. And if you look it up, be means to exist, right? It means to actually exist. When you're a human being, right? You actually exist. So be is the state of. I'm in this state of belief. The word L-I-E-F, look it up. It means to be happy. It means to have joy. Now, if you really look at that, when you are in a state of belief, what you're really, really saying is, I'm in a state of joy. I'm in a state of happiness. I'm in a state of going for something, believing for something, dreaming for something. It's my motivation. Your belief system is your motivation. It's what wakes you up every single morning. It's what gets you up when you get knocked down. It's what absolutely drives you. Now, some of you say, well, motivation doesn't last. Well, actually, they may be right. But if I'm motivated every single day and I piece together a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years of being motivated every single day, you're going to call me a champion. You're going to call me whatever it is that you want to call it. But I stayed motivated. There was something that was driving us, and it was that belief system. What motivates someone to go to church? What motivates someone to go to mosque? What motivates someone to go to mass, right? It's their belief system. They believe that by doing these things, that it's going to lead to something. So a motivation is really just having a motive. What's your motive for wanting to become a millionaire? What's your motive for becoming a billionaire? What's that motive that you have? What's going to drive you every single day? That's going to keep you in a state of joyous and bliss and happiness. It's knowing that you're going after something. It's knowing that you set a goal and you're working towards it every single day. So this belief system that we're going to talk about, now that you have a clear definition of what it actually means, be meaning to exist, and then L-I-E-F meaning to be in a state of joy and happiness. I think if you're the opposite, in a state of unbelief, it's a state of fear. It's a state of depression. If you really think about it, if you've ever been there, I've been there, right? When I was in a place of unbelief, life just didn't feel like it was worth living anymore, right? But when I was in a place of believing and belief, man, it was exciting to wake up every single day. It was exciting to go and do the work. It was exciting to go and actually build my business. It was exciting to take every phone call. It was exciting because you were in a state of expectation. And that's what belief is. That's what motivation does. Motivation also gives you the ability to expect great things to actually happen in your life. But let's talk about belief. Let's talk about how it's actually created. How is a belief created? The greatest belief that all of us have is our name. There's nothing else that you believe more on this planet. For some of us, it might be even a greater belief than our faith, right? There's no question in your mind that your name is your name. There's no one that can convince me otherwise that my name is not David Imonichie Jr. There's no one that can convince me otherwise. But how did I get that belief? How was that instilled in me? What was the origin of that? So your belief a lot of times are given to you, right? So my parents gave me that name. They probably gave me that name prior to me coming into this world. When I was in my mom's belly, that's probably when they said, his name shall be beloved, right? His name shall be David. Happens to be my father's name. But when I came out, or when I was in the room and they kept calling me David, I didn't know that my name was David. I had no comprehension. I had no way of knowing that was actually my name. But they did not care. It didn't matter to them that I believed it. All it mattered to them was, that's your name. That's his name. And we're not going to change it because he doesn't know. How many times have you changed what it is that you believe because someone else doesn't know? How many times have you done that? Think about it. How many times have you given up on a goal, a dream, a vision because someone else said, that's not it. That's not how it's going to work. See, no one can come to you right now and tell you that your name is not your name. No one can do that. Why? Because you heard it repeatedly. So a belief system, number one, a belief system is really created by words. It's created by what you're hearing. The faith that you have that your name is your name, which is the greatest belief, only happened because there was consistency of a particular word that was spoken to you, even when you did not know that that was your name. And eventually, I want you to write that word down. Motivation leads to eventually. The longer you can stay motivated, the longer you can hold on to a belief when it seems insurmountable, when it seems like it's not going to work, when it seems like it's just impossible. There's too many obstacles. There's too many challenges. But the longer you can hold on to that belief, the longer you can hold on to the state of being happy and joyous about what it is that you're doing and seeing the end in mind, the word eventually, there's an event that actually takes place. It eventually happens. So every single day, that name was spoken to you. They didn't care. It didn't matter to them that you responded or didn't respond. They literally trained you to believe that your name was your name. Now, how long did it take? Did it take 9 months? Did it take 6 months? Did it take a year? Did it take 3 years? Did it take 5 years? No one knows. All we know is that eventually you knew that was your name. How many agree with me on that? Eventually, you knew, hey, that is my name. Even though you didn't know. You didn't know the first time, the second time, the 10th time. Just like when you start confessing this belief that you have for your business or for your health or for your family, you don't know when it's going to happen. You could set a date. I always teach that when you set a goal or you set a date of completion, but you don't know that that's when it's actually going to happen. You just set those deadlines so you can move at a feverish pace. So eventually, you start to believe that that's your name. And then you respond accordingly. So a belief only becomes a belief when you respond accordingly to what it is that you believe. So the question is, how are you responding? And responding is action. What action steps are you taking right now that fortify, that solidify, right? That clarify that you actually believe it? But it's through repetition. It was repetition of your parents saying your name over and over and over again. Probably the next biggest belief that you have is your faith, right? And let's say you were born here in the United States and your parents were Christian, but immediately when you were born, they shipped you off to China and you were raised by a Buddhist family. More than likely, your faith wouldn't be Christianity. More likely, it would be Buddhism. Why? Because that's what you were exposed to. That's what you heard. That's what you saw. So a belief is created by what I'm hearing. A belief is also created by what it is that I see. You go into a Catholic's home, you're probably going to see a picture of Mary. As a baby, you're thinking that it's not forming a belief system, but it is. You're gathering all this data. We're constantly gathering all this data, and babies are doing that. You did that as a child. You were gathering all this data of pictures and images that were in your home. Maybe it was Jesus on a cross. Maybe it was a rosemary that you saw. And now you grow up and you're like, well, I'm Catholic. And you just, you're devout Catholic. And you're like, well, the question I would ask you is, well, how do you know you're a Catholic? Why do you believe that? Well, you only believe that because that's what you heard. You only believe that because that's what you experienced. That's the environment that you grew up in. That's what you saw. It's the same exact thing with what it is that you want right now. And in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, it talks about how laborious this is, how difficult it is for you to be in lack and speak wealth. It's difficult for you to see illness and speak health. It's very difficult for people to see darkness and speak light. And through the course of time that we're going to spend together, there's some revelations that will take place between us, like that, where it's going to click for you of how powerful you are, how incredible you are, and the abilities that God actually put in you, that's in your DNA, the abilities that you have to create. Your belief system is a system that is derived from the words that you've heard on a consistent basis, the images that you've looked at knowingly and unknowingly, consciously and subconsciously, words that have entered into your mind consciously or subconsciously. And here's the big one that really crystallizes everything: these emotions that you have felt. There's an emotion that comes with your name. I hope you know that. Hopefully you have that. Hopefully you feel good when you hear your name, especially when a loved one calls your name, right? But remember when you were a child and you were in trouble and your name was called? That came with an emotion as well. So it's all tied in together, this belief system that you have. And what gives a person these emotions, these feelings, is what they experience. So when you went to church, there was an emotion that came with that. Or maybe you went to the mosque and there was an emotion that actually came with that. Maybe you traveled to a particular country and there was an emotion that actually came with that. It was all these different experiences that you had. You know, I remember starting this journey 21 years ago now. And then finally learning some of these things. And I started to put myself in environments and situations where I could start to feel what it would be like to be a multimillionaire. What would it actually feel like to drive a Bentley? What would it actually feel like to drive a Mercedes? What would it actually feel like to drive a Rolls Royce? Well, you can't really know until you go and experience it. What does it feel like to swim? Well, jump in the water. So yeah, I could speak that this is the life that I want to live, and I could see the picture, but until I immersed myself in it, until I went and experienced it, I was never able to crystallize it and have the emotions that would motivate me. Yeah, go back to that word motivation. Because I got the experience of what it felt like to drive that car, live in that home, take that vacation through videos or actually physically experiencing it, it now gave me the motivation to go and do what other people were not willing to do. See, other people weren't willing to go and talk to 20 people a day. Other people were not willing to shoot thousands of episodes and film and record thousands and thousands of videos. And you look at people today that are earning tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars on these platforms, whether it's Twitch or whether it's YouTube or TikTok, and you're like, man, how are they doing it? Well, they're motivated. They're motivated to do it every single day. They have a belief system. They either heard that it was possible, then they saw that it was possible, and then more than likely they started hanging out with people that made it possible. And that gave them the emotion that, you know what, maybe I can do it too. The soccer player for France, Mbappe. I remember seeing a picture of him. He's like 10 years old, and he had a picture. He had a post up in his room of Ronaldo. Or I could go to Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooter of all time. Grew up in the NBA. Do you ever seem like Steph is unimpressed? You ever notice that? Like he's calm the whole time? Like, if I met Michael Jordan today, I probably would pass out, right? And I'm 42 years old. Well, the kid met Michael when he was 3, 2, 4. So he doesn't have the same feeling that I would have. Why? Because he'd already experienced it. Interesting. Jalen Brunson, that's another basketball player. The calmness that he has. Why? Grew up in the NBA. Dad played in the NBA. Grew up in the NBA. He's not impressed. You and I, we didn't have that experience. We're going to be impressed. So when you surround yourself with people that are wealthy, you surround yourself with people that are successful, now it starts to give you the emotion that, you know what, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. And then I'm also around to hear, I'm also around to learn, to glean from them. All it does is it creates that belief system. Why do we have basketball camps? Why do you see all these kids, they go to basketball camp and then 5 years later, 10 years later, they're in the NBA? They got an experience. So, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you desire, I'm going to talk to you about that, the success formula. Whatever it is that you desire, it starts with that. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. That's what the book Think and Grow Rich says. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. But desire is a motivation. Desire is what drives you. A strong feeling to have something is what desire means. So, whatever it is that you desire, how do I create the belief system for it? I just gave you the 3 steps to creating any belief system. And I showed you. The greatest belief you have is your name. And guess what? That's how it was created. You heard it? And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you learned your ABCs, what was the first word you wrote down? I'm sure it's not 100 out of 100, but I'm pretty sure that one of the first words that you wrote down was your name. All right? It was your name. So not only did you hear it, now you get to see it because it's written down. And then there were emotions that actually came with your name. All right? Same thing with your faith. Same thing with you becoming who you've set out to become. Do you have a belief system for it? Do I have a set of words for it? Do I have a set of images for it? And every single day, am I putting myself in environments and situations that can allow me to feel what it is that I'm speaking, what it is that I'm seeing, so now it can get into my heart, because he will grant me the desires of my heart. So my job is to get that desire into my heart. And oddly enough, if you're taking notes, the word heart has the word hear in it. It also has the word ear in it. Your ear is a gate into your heart. And if you're taking notes and you write the word heart, it also spells earth. Seeds go into the earth and they produce a harvest. Words go into your heart and they produce a harvest. Images go into your heart and they produce a harvest. Emotions that you have that are derived from relationships, circumstances, put yourself in the right circumstances so you're in the right mood. These are where your emotions come from. They go into your heart and they produce a harvest. These are all very simple things, but difficult for a lot of people to implement. But it works every single time. Pay attention to successful people. Pay attention to their stories prior to them becoming successful. I promise you, there was someone that said something to them. It was something that they saw, and it was something that they experienced that gave them the emotions that crystallized, and then they were motivated every single day. Some people say, well, motivation is like a shower, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, how often do you take showers? Hopefully every day. So you should be motivated every day. You should be inspired every single day. And then once you're motivated every single day and you're inspired every single day, then you can ascend to where most masters have gotten to, which is they're disciplined. Meaning, even when they're not inspired, even when they're not motivated, they still do the do. They still do what they said they were going to do, even when the emotion of being motivated or the motive or the goal gets hazy, gets challenging, where it seems distant, because they have built in this discipline that came over time of being motivated. It starts with motivation, guys. If a person's not motivated, you'll never get to discipline. Discipline takes years. Discipline takes decades. So how do I get there? How do I get to discipline if I don't start with being motivated? It's impossible. So, whatever it is that you desire, create a set of words for it. I'm so happy and grateful now. It's my recommendation. Got that from a mentor of mine that passed away a few years ago, Bob Proctor. I'm sure you know him. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am. Powerful words in there. Grateful is a powerful word. I am is a powerful word. Being happy, being joyous. I am belief. Remember? LIEF. Gratitude. Gratitude is the seed for more. When I have gratitude in my heart, I'm drawing more of what it is that I'm grateful for into my life. Being grateful and gratitude are two different things. Two different things, two different emotions. One is something you feel, one is something you show. I feel grateful that we have millions of people that are watching this episode. I feel grateful for that. Millions of people impacted by this one episode. Someone's watching this. A few people are watching this saying, man, I can do this. I can win. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the millions of people that are going to subscribe to this channel. I'm grateful for it. Has it happened yet? No. But I'm grateful for it. And how long I'm grateful for it, when it does actually show up in the physical, I will be able to express my gratitude by saying, what? Thank you. Gratitude is something you express. Like giving back. Grateful is something you feel in your heart. Gratitude is something you express. I guess I would call them kissing cousins. They kind of go hand in hand, right? Because I can show gratitude even before it actually shows up. But gratitude is something that you show. Right. I'm excited for you. I'm really, really excited for you. It's every single day, we're going to be together. Every day. At least Monday through Friday. Okay? All right? We're going to be together, and you're going to get the information, all right, that you need in order for you to stay motivated every single day until you've built up the discipline that every master has, every master of their craft has. They have that discipline, but it takes time to get there. So whatever it is that you're believing for right now, whatever it is that desire that you have, get a set of words for it, get a set of images that coincide with those words, and then figure out a way to get around what it is that you desire before you can even afford it. Figure it out. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.